Hi, folks. This is Mark by Mark A. Foster, Ph.D. for the Institute for Dialectical Meta-Realism. Let's get rolling. It is now almost 5 a.m. here. I've been sitting here in front of my computer for the whole night, thinking about what, if anything, that I could do. Of course, the answer is nothing, but I still think about it. I still think about it. There's nothing that I can do to change the decisions of people who occupy positions of power. President Biden, who receives tremendous campaign contributions from that right-wing American Jewish organization, AIPAC, is continuing to send money to Benjamin Netanyahu, King Bibi, Melech Bibi, Melech Bibi. Even as Melech Bibi carries out an unparalleled destruction of land, of human beings throughout West Asia. Lebanon, Gaza, and the West Bank. Maybe Iran again. Maybe Yemen, because the Houthis fired another missile at Israel today in protest of Israel's actions in Gaza. I don't know. Maybe not, but maybe. And Biden will keep on sending him money. What if Kamala Harris gets elected president in November? If or when she assumes the presidency in January, will she continue Biden's policies? Biden's presidency has been a failed presidency. Any good he may or may not have done, and that's debatable. I'm not going to have that debate because there's no point. You're listening to a communist talk about a Democrat and you're not going to get a positive response. But regardless of what you think about how well President Biden did domestically, everything he has done, everything he has done in recent months has simply washed it away. He is, in my opinion, right now, the worst president in my lifetime. I never thought anybody would surpass Donald Trump. Never. Trump was certainly more sensational, more in your face. But Trump didn't do this. Not this. Now, if he is elected president, he might. We don't know. He might, but not yet. Kamala Harris might as well. We don't know. But again, not yet. We can only look at what we can see. And that is that President Joe Biden has been one of the worst presidents, perhaps the worst president in American history, certainly in my lifetime. I thought when Nixon resigned his presidency in 1974, and I watched his resignation on television as I was bicycling cross country with some friends from New York to Chicago. We stopped in a hotel, and it just so happened at that moment, Nixon was on TV resigning. I could not imagine anything worse than that. And yet, compared to what is happening now, that was nothing. Bibi Netanyahu kills scores and scores and scores of people, demolishes communities, Gaza, West Bank, Lebanon, and Joe Biden continues to finance the war with no apologies at all, except occasionally, well, we wish you would show more consideration for human lives. I don't believe you, Joe Biden. If you actually believed what you said, you would stop sending him money after he has made it perfectly clear that he could care less about the lives of Palestinians. I mean, are we talking about the same person? Bibi Netanyahu, the monster of Jerusalem? Are we talking about Bibi Netanyahu, Joe Biden? I guess we are, but we don't see the same thing, or maybe more accurately, we choose not to see the same thing. I am in total, I'm totally heartbroken by what I see happening in West Asia right now. 2 days ago, well, I guess now it's 3 days ago, the Associated Press came out with a video, and I will link that video directly below this video so you can watch it for yourself. I was amazed. I had always thought of the Associated Press as the least radical of all the major news outlets. The Associated Press was depended upon to deliver simply the facts, ma'am, that could be used by any journalistic outlet, regardless of their political proclivities. And yet, the Associated Press said that we seem to be on the brink of, in its words, all-out war. All-out war. I don't know what to make of that. I suppose one can limit that to Greater West Asia. I guess that's somewhat of a positive spin, if you could call that positive. But I don't. I don't. The world is spinning out of control. The capitalist world system has failed us, and yet the world clings to it, thinking that somehow we will find a way out of these problems within the capitalist world system. No, we won't. No, we won't. The problem is the capitalist world system. The capitalist world system has no solutions. It only causes problems. It only causes mayhem. The killing of people, the destruction of infrastructure, of homes, of businesses. And meanwhile, Biden looks on and says, "So, sir, how big of a check do you want now, sir? Great King Bibi." I am heartbroken. I don't know how else to describe it. The first world is an utter failure. Look at the way in which we are treating the third world right now. Yemen is the third world. Iran is the third world. Lebanon is the third world. So is Palestine. There are some first world countries in that region, like Jordan and Saudi Arabia, but not the ones I mentioned. They are third world and fourth world countries. And they are literally victims of the United States, victims of my country, the country that I was born into, but wish I was not. But I cannot change my own biography. Whatever I do, no matter where I live, I will always be an American by birth. I will always be a native New Yorker. I can't change that. I can't rewrite my own life. I wish I could, for more reasons than one. I wish I could, but I can't. So, like you, if you are paying attention like I am to the news, I am disgusted. I am totally disgusted. I feel a sense of righteous indignation. But how can you have righteous indignation when there is no one to commit that righteous indignation against? And there is no one. So it wells up in my heart, that righteous indignation, and it stays there. And it builds up more and more every day. with no sign of a reprieve. Everyone is looking out for her or his own best interests. The only man I cannot figure out is Joe Biden. Joe Biden's political career is over. What does he care about the AIPAC money? He's not going to be running for re-election. He would have nothing to lose by stopping the money from going from the US to Israel, and yet he is not. But as Joe Biden has reminded us time and again, he is a Zionist. The evils of Zionism. If there was ever any doubt in anyone's mind about what is Zionism, where does Zionism leave? That doubt should be gone. We can see it all with our own eyes. This is Zionism. Destruction, ruin, catastrophe, suffering. Anything that will assure what? Israel? Benjamin Netanyahu from going to court for his corruption charges? I don't know. But that's what Zionism is in 2024. And we are seeing it. We are eyewitnesses to the fate of the world as it exists right now. We are all eyewitnesses. And we will take our memories to the grave. But in the grave, we can do no more good than we can right now. When I see a problem, I want to fix it. I cannot fix this problem. I wanted to get a Ph.D. in sociology because I cared about the world. I cared about human beings. I cared about bringing justice to this world. And here I am, a retired sociology professor with no ability to live up to my calling. There is nothing at all that I can do except watch. And so I watch in terror. And I wonder how people can go through their days without experiencing the same kind of inner torment that I feel, but I know some people do. They must be made of a different substance than me. Maybe I should be made of that substance. Because if I can't fix something, why fret about it? And yet I do. I fret about something that I cannot change. That seems to be my destiny, at least for now. I care about the Palestinians. I care about the Iranians. I care about the Lebanese. I care about the Yemenis. But so what? Good for me. Good for me. I care. But I am in the Rio Grande Valley of Texas, 2 miles north of Mexico, close to the Gulf of Mexico. And I can't do a thing. But no matter where I was in the US, I'd be in the same position. So I suppose I made this podcast episode as a kind of act of mourning. Many of my episodes are acts of mourning. I realize that. I don't know what else to do, so I mourn. I mourn even more when I'm not on camera. I hold it back. I hold it back to look presentable, to communicate what I think to people, anyone who might be listening to me. But do my words, what effect do my words have on others and on changing the situation? Could I call what I am doing conscientization, critical conscience, and consciousness raising? I don't know. I guess so. If you are listening and maybe you were a Zionist and maybe you were persuaded not to be a Zionist by me, of all people, then I guess it was conscientization. But I don't know. So I will make this request for anybody who is listening to me now. Please comment, say something to me, comment on this video. Give me your thoughts, your feelings, your speculations about the future, your thoughts about what, if anything, I could do as an almost 69-year-old man, a senior citizen living in Deep South Texas. I don't think that I can do anything, but maybe there is something, and maybe you know what that is. And so if you do, please tell me. I need to hear it. If you think there isn't, tell me that too. I also need to hear that. So it isn't just me thinking that I can't do anything. But we are witnessing one of the great tragedies of global history right now. I would say that what's happening right now is on a similar level to the Holocaust in Nazi Germany. And I am from a Jewish family. a similar level, not saying the same. No two historical situations are ever the same, but similar. Does that make Joe Biden? Does that make Benjamin Netanyahu comparable to Adolf Hitler? I will not answer that question. I don't like those kinds of comparisons, and so I won't make one. I will simply ask the question and let you ponder it if you wish, reflect on it, and then share with me your thoughts in the comments section. And again, I will place a link to that Associated Press article in the discussion section directly below this video. We are wounded. We are wounded. We are wounded. For the time being, this has been Mark by Mark A. Foster, Ph.D. for the Institute for Dialectical Meta-Realism. Have a pleasant day or a pleasant night, and an even better one tomorrow.